Down there, he was talking about Matt Kenseth, who was still down on the inside of the racetrack. Tab Boyd calling out to his driver, don't come down yet, he's still there. And then suddenly you hear the beeps, and you know what happened when the beep started.
Well, sooner or later, you have to turn down there because you run out of straightaway, and that was obviously what Joey Logano was faced with as he approached the end of the front straightaway. Now, if you don't have your tickets for Texas and you don't have your tickets for Phoenix or Homestead, Miami, you may want to think about getting them, because I can pretty much assure you, Joe, that what we are seeing here today is going to move on the next week and the following week and all the way until we get to South Florida. Team Penske, that was so good in this race, now are going to move on to Texas, more than likely on the bottom, looking up. And speaking of looking up, you know who is going to be at the top of the leaderboard when we do finally go back under the green flag? Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon will be up front, and the fans are going to love that as we're down to 46 laps to go. Now, Matt Kenseth, Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief, and Joe Gibbs, the team owner, have been called to the NASCAR hauler after the race this afternoon for this blatant move going off into turn number 1, putting Joey Logano out of the event. Tempers still flaring down in the garage. What do you guess it's going to be like between these teams going into the final 3 races of the year?
Well, that's what I mean. If you don't have your tickets yet, you probably ought to get them, because, you know, obviously Joey still has a chance to advance to Homestead Miami Speedway. I mean, he has proven the ability in the last 4 races to simply drive out front, lead them all, and win it. But that's probably what Joey is going to have to do now, because, you know, we're going to have to wait for everything to cycle around and find out where Joey's going to ultimately end up. But it's going to be at the bottom of the leaderboard for sure. The only way Joey's going to be able to move on, Joe Moore, is to do what Kevin Harvick did a year ago, and that is to win, or he is going to be on the outside looking in.
No doubt about it, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is here. You can keep up with the weeks of intense racing by downloading